Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. The noted trainer Buddy McGirt says that Deontay Wilder does not need to make drastic adjustments for the trilogy fight with Tyson Fury. That's set to take place at some time in July from initial reports. And I think there will be a number of people going, hang on, Deontay Wilder got dominated in the second fight. Surely he needs to do things a lot different, go back to the drawing board and sort of start again on a few aspects. But not so according to Buddy McGirt. So his statements, what he has been doing has been working for him. I think he got away from a lot of basic stuff. I'm not going to say too much wrong. I just want to say relying on the power too much. You've got to set it up. Some people will give it to you to knock them out. Some people you've got to set them up. It's called the overlay for the underplay. I think he has the potential to beat Fury. I don't want to say knockout, but I believe he has the potential to beat him. Like I said, if he makes little minor adjustments, I think he can win. I don't know what was wrong. There's only two people that know what was wrong with him that night. That's him and God, but he definitely wasn't himself. Those are Buddy McGirt's statements, and you may have noted he's been working with Sergey Kovalev more recently. And when he first started working with him, Kovalev was coming off a loss to Elidia Alvarez, and he completely changed his style up for the rematch where Kovalev outboxed the boxer. So he's shown there is a chance for a fighter to turn themselves around in a rematch, but I think Sergey Kovalev has better fundamentals than Deontay Wilder. And this is where the issue with Wilder comes at. People are looking at him going, the guy is 34, he's always relied on power. What, if anything, can he do different or better for the rematch? And obviously McGirt is saying he doesn't need to reinvent the wheel. He just needs to go back to the basics a bit more. Set up the right hand. And certainly that was something early in that second fight that you could see the right hand was coming. It was telegraphed. There was no real nuance about what he was trying to do. But that is Deontay Wilder all over it to a point. But I get what McGirt is saying, that if he can do some things different, go back to the basics, that he's going to have a better shot. And I'll come to something with Tyson Fury in a moment, because although we talk about Wilder making adjustments, I think people forget Fury will make adjustments himself. But in terms of Wilder, I guess going back to the basics, that probably means working his jab more. That was a punch that was almost non-existent in a meaningful way in the rematch. In more recent years, Deontay Wilder has taken to sort of just pouring it out there, something to sort of blind his opponent momentarily to try and get the right hand away. But against a guy like Fury, who is bigger than him, has a better reach, it's harder to sort of just get the right hand off. He's punching up, not necessarily down against the smaller opponents that he's faced before. So if Deontay Wilder can have a better jab, that may be beneficial and advantageous for him in the rematch. We know he does have a good jab when he wants to use it. Think the Berman-Stavern fight from 2015 when he won the title. He relied more on his boxing. But I guess, you're talking Stavern and Fury, two different, fighters. It's a completely different kettle of fish. But McGirt saying that minor adjustments are needed, I think some people will look at that and analyze that statement and just sort of go, really? Because he did suggest in a statement that he has the potential to beat Fury, and he says he didn't want to say knockout. So does that imply that he thinks Wilder can beat Fury on points? Which I think would be highly unlikely. We've seen almost 20 rounds of action so far. Deontay Wilder has lost the majority of those rounds. Tyson Fury will be coming into a trilogy fight with his own strategy, and we've seen it from the two fights so far. He can work on the back foot, and then in the rematch he was working on the front foot, and Deontay Wilder was having trouble with both. So while Deontay Wilder may look at what he can do better, maybe there will be some honest conversations about what he does need to do better. And I see that they're talking about working with George Foreman and a few other bits and pieces, but some of that might only be superficial. The core of Team Deontay Wilder is still going to be there. It's going to be many of the same ideas and theories. It could be some of what happened in the second fight. JD's ahead of the fight said, we're just going to do things better. And he probably looked at the second fight and thinks that Deontay Wilder didn't do anything better than the first fight, because ultimately he got sort of dominated, and there has been excuses galore that have been relied upon to explain away the performance. So I guess when you're talking about improvement, confidence. Some people are skeptical about what Deontay Wilder can do, but he always is going to be in a fight with a puncher's chance. That much is clear because he does have power, but we've seen from that rematch, he's not looking good going backwards. So if Deontay Wilder is backed up and Tyson Fury continues to pour on pressure, it does sort of limit Deontay Wilder's options. He can't sort of get as much leverage on that right hand because he likes to sort of, careen himself across the ring and sniper that right hand straight into someone's jaw. And that's what does the damage, the speed and the quickness. And even if he does change his training to some extent and his legs are stronger, as it were, I guess, there is a skill gap between the two. And that was exploited definitely in the first fight, but it was sort of rammed home in the second. And as I was sort of saying with Tyson Fury, people forget that he completely changed up his strategy. So we should be expecting probably something the same. I don't think he's going to serve up the same thing that he did in the second fight, because Deontay Wilder can now analyze and judge that performance and prepare for it. So I think we should expect Tyson Fury will also be making his own adjustments. And remembering he'd only been with Sugar Hill Stewart of the Kronk Gym for a short period. And Sugar Hill had sort of said, we only implemented maybe a quarter or a third of what we could do. So I could expect, again, a slight reinvention of the game plan for Tyson Fury in the third fight. And I think there's been many of us expecting at times that Tyson Fury would possibly switch up southpaw a bit more to sort of, confuse and confound Deontay Wilder and what he was looking to do. But I think there will be elements of the first and second fights and something a little bit else. And I'm sure Tyson Fury will tell us in due course what he is looking to do in that third fight. I don't think it will necessarily be exactly the same, because I'm sure he will expect a better version of Deontay Wilder, and preparing for that he will have to make his own adjustments. But McGirt saying that Wilder doesn't need to do too much more, he just needs to do things better, go back to the basics. I mean, that does seem like a sort of common sense thing to say, but obviously with this post-fight reaction to his loss, maybe they will go and sort of overhaul all sorts of things. But at this point, I don't know how much Deontay Wilder can change, but it's going to be interesting to see what he can try to do different. And working with Foreman and perhaps bringing other people in for advice, I mean, those are all building up storylines for the third fight. It's to help sell the fight. I think in general, they will still be the same team with generally the same strategy, relying on the right hand for the most part. But setting that right hand up, well, that is going to be the trick, especially against a guy in Tyson Fury who'll keep him guessing. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment, loud and often, hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.